This was Agavegi then. And yesterday and the day before yesterday, the President of the Republic went there to launch and activate a whole project. He didn't say because you didn't vote for me. He didn't say because I know you don't support me. He went there as leader and he said, you have a problem. I want to fix the problem. Find the video and play for me quickly. Let's move to the National Cathedral. We don't have too much time. And I want to say good morning to the Mayor of Accra,
is 51 households have been affected and 300 people have been displaced and 80 meters of the coastline has been washed away. I just want you to know that government has not forgotten about you. We're going to do everything possible to make sure that we ameliorate the plight that you are going through. I'm deeply honored to be here with you this afternoon for this important and long anticipated event, the groundbreaking ceremony of Phase 2 of the Blekusu Coastal Protection Project.
Sunrise on 3FM, the best in the morning.
In 2017 and again in 2021, destructive tidal waves swept through this area, uprooting families, destroying homes, and eroding livelihoods. I can still picture the videos and the pictures showing the images from the effects of these tidal waves. Earlier this year, during my visit to the region, I pledged that our government will no longer delay the action that was required to take away your pain and your fear. And today, I'm proud to say that this commitment is being fulfilled.
So that was what happened yesterday. Good news has come. Good morning to Lieutenant Colonel Issa. Now, I'm so angry this morning, and I'm sure my anger is justified, that we went to the IMF to beg them for $3 million, and we had $97 million to waste on a so-called National Cathedral, the biggest hole ever dug in Ghana, in Africa, and the rest of the world. So expensive. Let me add that. I'm so angry that we as a country do not think, and you have people defending the nonsense. And when I go out, people say, oh, they have released the Cathedral report and they didn't say that all the monies have been accounted for. Who accounted for what? Who accounted for what? The board of trustees, the management, PR people, everybody who chopped any single person in the National Cathedral has to be brought before the OSP, has to be brought before the court. They have to be held and brought before the law. That is how to stop such nonsense from happening. $97 million. Is it a joke? And I tell people that it is not a national cathedral. It is Akufo-Addo's personal pledge to his God. I am an Anglican, he is an Anglican. That God, when you give me a second term, I shall build you a cathedral to honor you. When did it metamorphose into a national cathedral conversation? When did it become a national cathedral? When? He promised God that, God, if you give me a second term, I will build you a cathedral. And he even told us that we're not going to add a penny of our national money to build that cathedral. Today we are being told that even Momo transactions that came, we have not been able to regularize it. He told us that we won't spend any money. Pretend that we have not made any judgment debts. Pretend that we didn't break people's buildings. Pretend that we are not negotiating with people to pay the money. Pretend. And just look at the value of the land that the state offered. Pretend that we didn't agree to anything and the finance minister then approved that we should spend monies on the national cathedral. Pretend. He lied to us, all of us put together. He lied to us. And because it is religious and it is supposed to be a religious thing, everybody is quiet. Yeah, stealing in the name of the Lord. We all pretended that everything was okay. Look, Sixtus, I have plenty of videos. Find me the video. Play any of the videos of your choice. We'll explain.
To Almighty God, that he was gracious enough to grant my party, the New Patriotic Party, and I, victory in the 2016 election. After 2 unsuccessful attempts, I would help build a cathedral to his glory and honor. It will be an iconic infrastructure for national, regional, and international pilgrimage and tourism. It will be a monument to religious liberty. Its construction deserves the full support of the nation.
The President of the Republic at the time, you heard him. He says God is gracious enough to grant him a second term. He will build him a national cathedral. Sixtus, play that video again.
People adhere to the Christian religion, grouped under the various persuasions of the Christian faith. The interdenominational national cathedral will help unify the Christian community and thereby help promote national unity and social cohesion. The Supreme Court of the Republic, in unanimously rejecting recently a challenge to the constitutionality of the cathedral project, laid particular emphasis on this point in granting approval to the development of the project.
The best in the morning.
Thirdly, I made a pledge to Almighty God that he was gracious enough to grant my party, the New Patriotic Party, and I, victory in the 2016 election. After 2 unsuccessful attempts, I would help build a cathedral to his glory and honor.
You are a Ghanaian. You have made pledges to God. Does your pledge bring a burden onto the nation? No, those of you who are insulting me this morning, Nanaya Nkamasem has made a pledge to his God. Do you know which God he serves? And he has made a pledge, and the pledge is a burden now on the state. $97 million. Calculate, even if the dollar is 9 cedis. 9 cedis. 9 cedis to $1. Calculate it. Some of you defend everything to a hilt, and some of you don't even understand the nonsense that you are defending. Sixtus, find me another video. Today we'll do every national cathedral video.
2017, the 60th year of our independence, I cut the sword for the construction of a national cathedral on my way to the Independence Square celebration.
Sunrise on 3FM. The best in the morning.
As I indicated at the sword cutting, was to offer thanksgiving to the Almighty for his blessings to us as a nation, and to address a missing link in the nation's architecture by building a church for national purposes. We're grateful to the Almighty that exactly a year on, and once again on my way to the Independence Square celebrations, we're gathered here to unveil the design. I'm deeply grateful to the distinguished Board of Trustees and the eminent clergy and the Secretariat of the Cathedral Project for working around the clock to make this possible. One of the significant developments of the past year was the commissioning of an architect for the Cathedral Project. I'm proud to announce to the nation that we have commissioned one of the most iconic of contemporary global architects and a son of Ghana, David Ajay, as the main architect for the project. Throughout history, what has distinguished the great cathedrals and those with a national character is the broad mobilization of the entire community in support of the building and maintenance of the cathedrals.
This whole issue of the National Cathedral, in my mind, is the third leg of this triangle. How do you build a society in which you are clear on defining who you are politically? How do you build a society in which the economic engine is growing? And how do you contain that within a spiritual realm that ensures stability for ages to come? So that is Ghana, the economic emancipation, the political emancipation, and the spiritual. But even as we look at something like the cathedral that has economic benefits beyond what we see, both in Israel and the Hajj, they realize about $6 to $8 billion a year. In Africa, we have some 600 million people who are Christians. So imagine Ghana as a New Jerusalem and these 600 million people floating through. $3,000 is spent, and it's a very different reality. So even as we contend with it and fight about it, let's look at this triangle and find a reason why we should also add that as part of the infrastructure base as we look at a society that is strong, resilient, and robust for the future. And we must find a way to do that. And it's also important because when you look at the diaspora, I think the minister mentioned the number of some 160 million people around the globe who need a place to come to. So the whole issue of the homeland return, and this is where our president talks about Ghana giving a birthright journey to all of these people to come.
That was Bible quoting finance minister, white wearing apparel finance minister. And we went to the IMF for $3 billion. But if you pause and think about the monies that are being thrown around, 280 million, 500 million, this, that, you put all together, we shouldn't have gone to the IMF. But we are the IMF begging them, and we are still yoked to the IMF. This is Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta, same man who went to Parliament to tell us that by the 1st of July in a certain year, we were going to activate the National Cathedral. We went to do the National Prayer Day, and we went to the Pete at the State House, Parliament, the forecourt of the Parliament House, to go and have our National Prayer Day. He came to promise us. He said it in Parliament. Should have brought that video, maybe tomorrow. This National Cathedral thing, which originally was Akufo-Addo's pledge to his God, should not be offloaded onto us as a National Cathedral. And we're adding stuff of religious tourism and all of those. It should not. Look, Texas, find me the other videos. Find me the videos. Let's play the videos. Today I came with a lot of videos. We'll just play the videos. Play the video. Deloitte and Touche reports. Some people may just say, oh, we have finished everything and nobody was charged of anything, blah, 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 all this. Play the videos.
Now,
and Obusia for and your boy. And I start Apostle Pokunina. A Juma or your mamma, dear, maybe and your name and meeting at Watson. Cathedral, no, dear, Queen be as you busy. Queen be as you busy. The senior and son and Jimmy Walker on the bottom. Uchinaka, Madame Mason Yacopo, a Samunia, Bako, Uchinaka, Madame Mason Yacopo, a Samunia, Bako, Constitutional and Obusia for and your boy. And I start Apostle Pokunina, a Juma or your mamma, dear, maybe and your name and meeting at Watson. Cathedral, no, dear, Queen be as you busy. Queen be as you busy. The senior and son and Jimmy Walker on the bottom. Uchinaka, Madame Mason Yacopo, a Samunia, Bako.
So this is President Akufo-Addo, or this was President Akufo-Addo, who said, by whatever means, by whichever way, we're going to build a cathedral. The fact that will build a cathedral. He said it himself. So what happened? There's another video where he says that, look, the cathedral is the priority of all priorities. Play the video.
I'm a Christian in politics who's unashamed of asserting my Christian faith as part of my political calling. It is this faith and this belief in God's power to transform difficult situations into beacons of hope that has animated my vision for me moving Ghana to a situation beyond aid and putting the country onto the road of self-reliance, sustained progress, and prosperity. Our march to a brighter future is underpinned by our firm attachment to a governance system that respects individual human rights and individual liberties, the rule of law, and the principles of democratic accountability. This faith is also the motivation for one of the major projects, which I have described as a priority of priorities, that we're undertaking in the country. This is the construction of the National Cathedral of Ghana, which first brought us to this venue 3 years ago in February 2019. The National Cathedral addresses a missing link in our nation's architecture by providing a formal space for the religious activities of the state. Designed by the iconic global Ghanaian architect, David Ajay, who designed the National Museum of African American History and Culture here in Washington, D.C. The National Cathedral provides an interdenominational space for worship and will serve to insert God at the center of our nation-building efforts. We've integrated a Bible museum and biblical garden as part of the project. Dubbed the Bible Museum of Africa and Biblical Gardens of Africa, they extend the National Cathedral project, which will transform Ghana, over 70% of whose population are self-proclaimed Christians, into a major center of Christianity in Africa. I'm a Christian in politics who's unashamed of asserting my Christian faith as part of my political calling. It is this faith and this belief in God's power to transform difficult situations into beacons of hope that has animated my vision for me moving Ghana to a situation beyond aid and putting the country onto the road of self-reliance, sustained progress, and prosperity. Our march to a brighter future is underpinned by our firm attachment to a governance system that respects individual human rights and individual liberties, the rule of law, and the principles of democratic accountability.
Here ends the sermon on National Cathedral. Now, pause and think. We're told about some $50-something million. Now we are being told about almost $100 million. And you are the one who has elected yourself to be defending all that conversation. It is a problem. You have to think again. The people who are the helm of affairs in terms of the board, the management, everybody who worked at the National Cathedral who earned a salary, who earned whether it was a pittance or whatever it is, everybody who earned something has to be dealt with. Everybody. And we must not shroud it and cover it in religiosity. No. If it is done at Ghanaian Times, they will deal with them. If it's done at SNIT, they will deal with them. If it's done at GRA, they will deal with them. If it is done at the so-called National Cathedral platform, they have to be dealt with. And I insist, as many of you know, that it is not a national cathedral. It is Akufo-Addo's personal pledge to God. When I go to my church at St. Joseph the Work Anglican Church to make pledge to my God, does it become a national burden? I'm asking you, does it become, when you go to your church, Church of Pentecost, Aladura, Mozambique Christo Church, Apostolic Church, CAC, when you go to your church, does it become a personal pledge or does it become a national burden? Somebody went and said, if you grant me and my party victory, we will give you a cathedral. How does that become my pledge, my burden? To the point where my national taxes are being used even without parliamentary approval. And you are there. You are defending such nonsense. And you say you have gone to school. You are there. You are defending such rubbish. And you say that you are elevated. Some of the students at Legon, they are fighting over hostel fees. Because they say every now and then, somebody called me, a father texted me, and he said, look, I have 3 children in the university. Every year their hostel fees are increased. And there's no improvement to the hostel facilities. And I'm dying, my BP is rising. Such a father is paying taxes. And the taxes will be used to dig the most expensive hole, which subsequently became a swimming pool, where MPs want to visit and they are blocked by soldiers. And you ask yourself what kind of training those soldiers received. They've lived in the barracks. When you see proper soldier, you see. When you see political soldier, you see. When you see protocol soldier, you see. Same for police, same for immigration, same for everybody else. MPs wanted to visit that location. They were prevented by soldiers. They had to fight their way tooth and claw to get in there. How did somebody's personal pledge, that's my pet peeve this morning, how did somebody's personal pledge become the burden of the entire nation? The president and former president should be brought to the center to answer that question. How did the personal pledge become the pledge of the entire nation? How? How did his personal pledge become the promise and burden of the entire nation? That's the question I want you to think about throughout your day. Here ends my sermon. Please call me 055-924-2717 and 055-691-0154. Good morning.
Good morning.
In my line of work, a confident smile is everything. Kale Charcoal Toothpaste keeps me on top of my game and ensures my smile is always radiant and bright.
With the tiring nature of my job, we spend several
is watching us from the UK. And then also Prince Daniel, a couple of you also joining via mainstream as well. We're happy as always that you always find the time to be with us. Very important. And I'll tell you about the ABC games in a bit, the new one that we have been talking about. Now, for all of us to go through this, we have to tell you what we have this morning. But again, we've seen that a number of you also just not only be on social media, but also contributing to the discussions. And Kenneth Coleman, good morning to you. Nia Fitaki as well. I see Money Need Money. Gongo Roger, great guy. Obrin Ponkaba, it's been a while. And Kweku Aaron, as well as all the others. Sami, Frank Bachman. And you say I should tell your wife to leave the TV remote for you. Okay, so the wife of Sami Frank Bachman, please leave the TV remote for your husband. And then also Prince Kofodia, you've joined another. Kwesi Mensah is there. I see Mensa Majid. Mensa Majid particularly says happy birthday to one particular person. That's Isaac Dakura, popularly known as Obi. And he's a tutor at the Bechane Pre-Sec Senior High School. They're called the Nobles. Very interesting name. And so make sure you share the stream. Let's have some great conversations. And at the center of our discussions is also what do we do now? We know the content of that Deloitte and Touche audit report, because the position of government, as we're also communicated to by the minister responsible for government communication and his spokesperson, Felix Kwachiofosu, is that an forensic audit is needed, or a forensic audit is needed. And many of you also think that we need to just go beyond what the expenditures are, go beyond, look at value for money, etc. And so Kweku Esel and Joshua Hine, a couple of you as well, are also saying that, look, that should be the way to go, including Nadia Inje Lawoni, all there. Please share the stream. Let's have some great conversation. Let me just introduce our guest for the morning. I have Dr. Aye. Dr. Aye, thank you for joining us. It's been a while I've seen you.
Yes,
I've seen you as well on social media as well, when you tend to do your comments and communication. Then Lawyer Pierre Dankwa is also here. Good morning to you, Lawyer Pierre Dankwa.
Good morning, Roland.
Great. You're going for the course this morning? Or
no.
Not really? But usually you don't wear suits on Monday, I've noticed. Sometimes, most times, or sometimes. It's a wrong observation on my part.
Yeah, wrong observation.
Okay. And then also Dr. Bernard Tutubuai, good morning to you as well. Did you monitor the MPP Delegates Conference? We'll be talking about that in the second part.
Yeah.
They've done a number of amendments.
Yeah, good morning, Roland. Good morning to my co-panelists. And yes, I did. I was on one of the TV stations, Dakan TV stations, so I monitored it.
All right. Thank you. But we also have to tell you that it's time to make money the fun way with your nursery ABC. So it's easy peasy, very easy for you to do. And so the ABC game is here, and it's as simple as dialing star 262, again, star 262 on your phone. So this is what you need to do. Once you dial star 262, you pick, based on the prompts that you're going to get, any 3 letters from the alphabets we know, the normal alphabet, 20th alphabet, that's A to Z, all right? You choose how much you want to stake, even as low as 5 Ghana cedis, and then you get to become those lucky winners. So all you need to do is know that you could win 1 million Ghana cedis if you become one of those ones who are always increasing the number of stakes as well. So daily draws happen 3 times a day. And this one necessarily will always not be on TV, but this one is in real time. And the daily draws with ABC's game is going to be held 10 a.m., 4 p.m., and 9 p.m. Again, 10 a.m., 4 p.m., and 9 p.m. It also means that before 10 a.m., you have to be part of the stake. Before 4 p.m., become part of it. And before 9 p.m., you're part of it. So choose your time and test your luck. Get 1 correct letter. Now, all you need to do is to make sure that you're part of this. You win 2 times your stake, 2 correct letters, you're going to win as well, and that's 5 times your money. Now, match 3 in any order, and then you also get to win 100 times your stake. And if you get to match all 3 in the exact order, you walk away with 1,000 times your payout or your stake or your payment, so to speak. So even if you don't win, you also get to have a 10% cash back of the sums of the stakes you've undertaken, so the sums of it. So you never get to lose anything really. So whether you have internet or not, this one is without any internet mode as well. It's just a short code. And so you don't necessarily need an internet. You also don't need to stress. So you dial *262# and you start winning. ABC game, life should be as easy as they call it as ABC. So this one is licensed also by the NLA under the Caritas platform. And always remember that for all of these games, including the ABCs, the terms and conditions are always applying for you, all right? So now, let's take you through what the audit report says, the actions that government says will be taken, and we here discussing what needs to be done going forward. Do we need to look behind just the key expenditure items and look at value for money, etc.? Because the sums now we're told in excess, some $97 million. Can we get the picture of the cathedral after this as well? So we're good to see how much $97 million. That's the equivalent in the current exchange rate of 970 million, almost $1 billion that we have. So we know that the talk throughout the period over the last couple of years has been about the bloated and overvalued nature of the project cost, massive financial irregularities, dubious and unsupported expenditures based on the seething through, based on government's own communication so far. We're told that also we have questionable loan deal. For example, JNS Talent Center Limited, without any proper documentation, just gave a loan and subsequently paid back in some short time, and all the accruals also involved. And there are concerns even about donation mismanagement and field controls. For example, about 90% of the monies that were donated through the mobile money platform, for example, according to the responses by the management letter, etc., they hadn't reflected. All right. So I mean that's just the plain language I want to use. So donations were made through the short code as dedicated by the trustees and management of the construction and the National Cathedral itself. Donations were made by ordinary Ghanaians. 90% of those donations did not reflect. So they were not, the accounts were not credited. I mean, basically, that's what the National Cathedral management is saying. Yet, this could not be confirmed by the mobile money telephone provider, so to speak. Then there have been lapses in financial oversight and bookkeeping, procurement violations, and then governance and legal breaches. But, you know, what do you say? When you do things the right way, you can account for it. So, you know, procurement issues are always a problem here in Ghana. But for those watching, what do we need to do? We'll go through a number of the expenditure items, but what's the direct communication from you,
yes.
Dr. as government, so to speak?
Thank you very much. Good morning to our viewers. Good morning to my co-panelists and yourself. I think that the minister responsible for government communication, the Honorable Felix Kwachofosu, made it clear during the press conference on Friday that His Excellency the President has, first of all, you know, dissolved the National Cathedral Secretariat. There are legal processes ongoing to also dissolve the trustees, board of trustees. You know, it's limited by guarantee, so things cannot happen just like that. The President has also directed the Auditor General, the Finance Minister, and the Attorney General to commission a forensic audit to know exactly what has occasioned the discrepancies in the payments that have been made. And so clearly the President is committed to unravel and uncover the exact details of exactly what happened at the National Cathedral project. If persons are found culpable, the necessary processes will be taken in order to surcharge anybody that the country deems to have misappropriated the meager resources that we have pushed into this project. But you see, when President Kufuor announced this project, some of us had significant doubts about it. We had our own reservations, except that we are devout Christians. I'm a Presbyterian. And so upon learning that there were some, religious men of high integrity, high caliber, and their image in the society, I was a little bit comfortable because at the very least, these are men of integrity that you can repose confidence into, know that indeed they'll make sure the right thing is done. Before long, these men of God had, raised concerns of financial and accounting opacities in the way and manner the funding of a project was. That was when the people of Ghana should have known that just like many bigger projects that the previous government had engaged in, there were other interests for persons related to the government and their cronies to line their pockets with state resources. Look at the communication surrounding the whole National Cathedral setup. In one breath, they say that government only provide the land and give a seed fund. Before we could blink an eye, over $58 million of the country's resources have been invested in the National Cathedral project. Shraj gave a report that the selection of the architectural consultant, the award of the contract to Rebade JV or something like that, all breach procurement laws. What proper, open bidding processes were done in order to ensure that there is confidence in the process. None or whatsoever was done. You understand the point I'm making? So right from the get-go, there were issues and there were difficulties as far as this project is concerned. Look at the argument they were making, that they will rake in money from the National Cathedral and the National Cathedral could pay for itself. That was not substantiated by fact. There are bigger cathedrals in this world. For example, when you go to Germany, and yesterday I was reading a post by Bright Simmons. There's a cathedral at Cologne where you have relics of significant, things that are very important to Christians. They call something Shrine of Magi, which are relics of the three wise men. They have
which three wise men?
Oh, the three wise men that visited Jesus, Mary when Jesus Christ was born. You understand? They have what you call fragments of the true cross. These are very significant to Christians, for which reason more people will have the opportunity and reason to go there. That cathedral has over 6 million people visiting it. 4 times more than the number of tourists that come to Ghana at the end of every year.
What's your point with this?
The point is that that cathedral is unable to even fund its maintenance costs, in that at the end of every year, some subsidies are given to them in order to maintain it. So all across the world, bigger cathedrals are not even able to generate the necessary money that are needed to even maintain it. What is special about Ghana's cathedral that will make sure that the necessary revenues are accrued? And so the planning, the scientific researches that were made, the analysis in order for the country to rake in the necessary resources were not done. And so right from the get-go, we're going to face these difficulties that we are facing. Look at the report from Deloitte. Clear inconsistencies. I have a page. They have written total consultancy fees paid to the architects. The Office of the President says that they paid 130 million Ghana cedis. Ajayi says that...
Based on reconciliation, yes, from the report?
Yes. Okay. Ajayi says that he received 17 million Ghana cedis.
117.
117 million Ghana cedis. How do you budget for 113 million Ghana cedis and the person receives 117 million Ghana cedis? You understand the point I'm making? So these are discrepancies. And there are MPP social media experts and some former MPs on social media saying that the report exonerates the National Cathedral Secretariat and vindicates President Kufuor. How does this report vindicate President Kufuor? Again, look at one page. The National Cathedral is saying that the contract awarded was to a tune of 261 million Ghana cedis. Meanwhile, the confirmation from the Office of the President says that the contract was 286 million Ghana cedis. Somewhere in August 2024, the National Cathedral itself did a progress report. They say the project is 268 million Ghana cedis. The contractor brought interim payment certificates and submitted to the Finance Ministry. He said the contract is 283 million Ghana cedis. And so depending on who you listen to, you get a different contract sum. Look at the amount of money they paid for mobilization. Office of the President said they paid $89 million. Ajayi said he receives 950,000 Ghana cedis. Meanwhile, when you look at the fee payment schedule on page 47 of the contract dated 20th August 2019, the amount for mobilization was $1.5 million. And so all the doubts that we had raised right from opposition about some intent about the National Cathedral and that some people wanted to steal this country, it had been legitimized by the report. And so today I am gratified that His Excellency the President has made the point that just like what we said in opposition, there were some investigation needed to be had as far as the National Cathedral is concerned. And so the forensic audit that His Excellency the President has directed is a step in the right direction to give confidence to the people of Ghana to surcharge persons whom we deem fit to have, misappropriated some funds and what have you. You made mention of the fact that some Momo transactions that were sent to the cathedral, they cannot substantiate it. Over 39 million Ghana cedis. They say that they have records of only 700 and something. Meanwhile, as we speak, we can't even find where that money is.
And people sent the money?
People actually sent the monies. In whose pockets?
But the accounts were not credited?
Yes. So in whose accounts were these money sent? And they are saying that they gave responses. Master, you can give responses and those responses does not make sense. You understand the point? They have asked you, how much money did you give? For example, let me give you an example. They said that we noted differences with regards to the amount paid to the architects, said David Ajayi and Associates, for the mobilization and design of National Cathedral projects from the confirmation responses received from the Office of the President, and that was David Ajayi. The response is that Mr. Ajayi received 113 million Ghana cedis. What evidence did you give that he received it? Meanwhile, the man is telling us that he received a different amount. Office of the President is telling us that the man received a different amount. You understand the point I'm making? So, I am happy that today the suspicion that we had in opposition have been confirmed and we have been vindicated. Because it does not make sense that you invest $97 million into a project and this is where you leave it. UGMC cost over $250 million. This $97 million constitute almost half of the amount of money used to build the UGMC. Pokwasi interchange cost about 94 million. Look at the Pokwasi interchange and look at the fact that it costs $94 million. But you have expended $97 million on National Cathedral, and this is how you leave it. And so clearly, the numbers do not add. Monies have gone to some people's pockets, and the people of Ghana are happy about the move by President John Dramani Mahama to realize and recoup the resources that have been invested in the way they have been invested.
All right. We'll also be joined in the second part of this one when we're discussing the MPP and the Delegates Conference by Professor Smart Sapong, and we know is a known pollster, also with the Kumasi Technical University as well, and lawyer Pia Dankwa. For example, we're told that secretary to the cathedral, for example, that's the board, had an accommodation billing $4,500 each month, as well as some other rentals that were done, 3,000 USD every month as well for a period. And you look at some of those discrepancies, Is that not why a value for money audit beyond what has been done, making sure the audit is more forensic than that is needed? Or we can just make sure that the auditor, the Attorney General goes ahead and then takes experts, and then if they go beyond just the key numbers and the figures that have been reported, so that if there's supposed to be prosecution or not, that could be started?
So let me wish your lovely viewers a good morning. Let me wish yourself a good morning. And wish my distinguished friends here a good morning. Yes, I hear you. You said as in the report and the substance of the report requires that a forensic evidence is done. I agree with you. You also say that a determination ought to be done as to whether or not criminal prosecution ought to be done. I also agree with you, except to say that in how we handle things in this country, the kind of interpretation we've given to our constitution, the biggest culprit in this crime that has been done to Ghana, people of Ghana, may go scot-free because we think that if you are president of Ghana, you are immune from criminal action. I think we need to have a review of whichever law. We need to consider the terms of Article 57.6, which essentially says that nothing in Article 57.4, Article 67.5, which in essence grants the president both personal and immunity when he acts as president. The 57.6 is saying that nothing in that 57.6 serves as grants that immunity where the president has acted in bad faith. If you have your constitution, you can read the 57.6 for us.
Okay, it says 57.6, civil or criminal proceedings may be instituted against a person within 3 years after his ceasing to be president in respect of anything done or omitted to be done by him in his personal capacity before or during his term of office, notwithstanding any period of limitation, except where the proceedings had legally barred or had been legally barred before he assumed the office of president.
What?
Yeah, 57.6. That's what it says. So the prosecution could happen.
So we should, because you see, there's a view among the public that His Excellency Nana Addo supervised over a criminal enterprise when he was in power. You can mention the PDS scandal, which must be looked at. You can look at the Galamsey issue, especially from the reports of Prof. Frimpong Boateng. And then with what is happening with this National Cathedral, where the state has criminally spent about $97 million, and all we have to show for it is a big hole. All this give credence to the belief in certain sections of Ghanaians that His Excellency Nana Addo supervised over a criminal enterprise. And I think what we should be discussing are ways in which we can have a radical review of this immunity regime and see if this is not clear evidence enough that the immunity regime in the Constitution does not help us. Because when you have a human being, a man, a person, who is very parochial, who uses power as a vehicle, as a tool, you understand, to steal the property of Ghana, and then we say that because of a certain immunity, that person cannot be prosecuted. Because this is the rule of law. We are all equal before the law. The president is under the law. Listen, we have a president who took a vow to uphold, to defend, to preserve the Constitution of Ghana, the laws of Ghana. And this president, in spite of all the laws in the Constitution and in the acts of Parliament, initiated and took steps in defiance of the oath he took, in defiance of the clear terms of the laws of this country. You know that per our laws, when, and I'm not even going to the proprietriness or not of the project in itself. Let's say the project was, but before you start giving out procurement deals, you must register. First of all, you must seek approval from the procurement agency and register a contract. Per the reports, when they made that first payment to AJ, the architect, had they gotten approval from the procurement authorities? Now, when what was the basis then for making payments to Ajay when clearly there was no approval of that contract to Ajay? Indeed, was there any contract between the state and Ajay? And if there was any contract, did it follow the terms of the procurement laws? Now, understand that and clearly because they didn't advertise, so presumably they did under sole sourcing. Did they fulfill the condition precedent under our laws, under which sole sourcing can be granted? And is this not a clear breach of the procurement law? And would I be wrong if, as in the spirit of doing something to represent something that characterized his role, and that this Cathedral thing was not something that a ruse they pulled just to siphon the funds of the state? Now, secondly, I think it is Article 179 that says that when you're going to spend money from the consolidated funds, you need to go through what you call appropriation, also. And Parliament must give approval. Was that done? Was that done?
Well, when the former finance minister appeared before Parliament, he said the money was taken from what we now know is the contingency vote.
Is it not a public? Is it not a public fund? So can you take?
It's almost like a miscellaneous.
And then you can take money from there without
arrangement
without appropriation.
That's available to the presidency.
Without appropriation, you can go and take money without appropriation. Going through the appropriation bill, the Article 179, is that an exception? And then the board is a trust. Because it's a trust, one of their fundamental obligations is that fiduciary relation that exists between they and the trustees. So we are the trustees. And so because of that, anything they do, any action they take must be to the best interest of we, the trustees. Now you go and, as in, not even a break has been laid, you've breached all the laws, and yet you have the secretary housing himself in an accommodation where the rent is about almost 5,000 USD. They took some trips to the USA where the hotel bill was about 5,000 USD per night. They give themselves some monies. You understand? Listen, we can use all the fine, but clearly this was a criminal enterprise. This is a criminal enterprise. And I think we are not angry enough. When I glance through the communication going on, there should be forensic evidence, there should be surcharge. Yes, there should be surcharge. Yes, there should be forensic evidence. But you see, our mood does not show enough anger at this rape. Rape? His Nanado. Nanado raped Ghana. And I'm being very charitable here. Nanado raped Ghana, and we are not angry enough. Last year, I was calling for his impeachment. People did not seem to understand why I was calling for his impeachment. Because the damage that has been done to the public in terms of the trust they hold for public officers potentially can impact the fidelity of the public, because this is a republic. We are a republic. So if you have a situation where the public do not trust the people they grant their sovereignty, their powers to use those powers to their interest, then there's a fundamental problem in this system of governance that we've taken upon ourselves. And that's the attitude we should take in handling these criminals who have raped our country. Yes, and and I can't believe sometimes some of the media people,
what have we done?
Certainly it's not you. At least you, when you fought for us, they gave you the name Babaginda. When you decide to fight for Ghana, they called you Babaginda. You and your brother. So certainly not you.
Who is my brother? Johnny Yusuf.
Yeah. Yes, and so no, it's not you. I think you guys are doing a fine job, and it's not because I'm on your show. And I think you should continue. As in the mere fact that they are calling Babangida and all those names should not take anything away from your desire. You understand, from your desire to hold public officers accountable. But some of your colleagues, you understand, who went on a campaign trying to tell the whole country
before the report was made public
that these, I don't know what the word to use, these people, led by His Excellency Nana Addo, who have behaved in a manner which is akin to they raping Ghana, have been exonerated. We are not angry enough. And you see, for me, yes, forensic audit ought to be done. The AG must at all means prosecute these people.
Even before because you can call in experts, right?
We need to have a discussion as a country whether or not this immunity that we give to our presidents, this immunity that whether it does not defeat the abiding principle of probity and accountability that underpins our constitution. Because you see, when you have leaders who take power for the right reasons, and the reason being to serve, then we don't have a problem. But the last 8 years, NADA has shown us that you can have charlatans who will take power. And when they take power, with all these safeguards our constitution has given people who become presidents, then the state will be at risk. And so because of the few charlatans who may assume the presidency, we cannot have these safeguards. We cannot have these, immunities. Because the person who initiated and led this wanton rape of our country, of our resources, to think that $97 million has gone into the creation of a hole, and we have children who are studying under trees. To think that $97 million has been spent on a hole, and we have roads which are essentially death traps. To think that $97 million has been expended in the hole, and yet we are being made to pay 1 cedi per liter because we have a looming energy crisis. To think that $97 million has been used in the hole, and yet we have an SME which ought to be the backbone of this economic transformation. And we can't, the state is unable to give them the kind of financial support they need because we've used $97 million in the hole. To think that people have died last year because of this debt exchange program. We've lost some of our brightest and sharpest entrepreneurs. They've died. And yet in that period, $97 million of our monies were expended on the whole. And we read this report, and this report is telling us that the initiator of this crime was the president. And because of a certain immunity in our constitution, we can do all the forensic audit we want. We may do we may take all the steps to prosecute. And yet this man, who was the initiator of this crime, will go scot-free because of this constitution. In itself,
so that's why you advocate.
Is a crime on Ghana. Is a crime on conscience. That's why we're not angry enough.
That's why you're advocating for the amendment.
We can't have a reset. But that reset isn't for the NDC. Even before they use the word reset, we all agree that we need a reset because of the way we were killing this country. We can't have this reset. We can't have this reset, which ought to be a reset of our mindset. We can't have this reset, which ought to be a reset of the burden on leadership, if we have this Article 57 still in our constitution. Because I'm saying that the initiator of this crime that has been done in Ghana, this crime, this act which can destroy any kind of belief, trust, fidelity the people of this country have in this system of governance, he will go scot-free because of Article 57. But he should not go scot-free.
So he should take ultimate responsibility. But
what I'm saying is that
he had assigns who were taking decisions.
Listen. When you read the report, the first payment, where did that payment come from? It came from the office of the president.
Yes.
The first payment came from the office of the president. Because now that gave a clear signal to anybody that if the office of the president itself is making payments contrary to the clear terms of our constitution, contrary to the clear terms of our public procurement laws, then he sets the agenda. Yeah. And I'm saying that in spite of this wanton crime that's been done to Ghana, you have this person who is the initiator of this rape that has been done to our country, and he will go scot-free because of this immunity. I'm saying that unless we deal with this immunity, then a crime itself is being done to the people of Ghana. Then that principle, the principle of probity and accountability we place in under our constitution is a mere charade, and we don't have any commitment to fulfilling and upholding that principle.
Dr. Tutubuahin, in our local parlance, we always have discussions that you can use the law and evade prosecution when it comes to going according to the key sections of the Public Procurement Act, Act 663, making sure you're satisfying all rudimentary requirements. And even though perhaps expenditures may not align with your own thinking, what perhaps what the market values are. And clearly, if then we know that we're confronted with such a situation, what do you think needs to be done if there are doubt or no doubt, looking at the quantum or sum of money that has been spent in relation to the project on ground?
All right. Roland, good morning once again. Good morning to my colleagues. Good morning to our cherished viewers and social media followers. Let me give a brief background to some of these discussions. And I'm going to limit myself because I think you mentioned a cathedral in Berlin, right? Yeah. Okay. There's one closer to us, our next door neighbor.
The one Yamoussoukro.
Yamoussoukro, yes. And it was built in 1985, between 85 and...
By President Ufo-Boaning.
Yes. And per the Guinness Books of Record, right, it is the largest in the world. Mm-hmm. Okay. And when you look at the quotations, the procurement issues relating to costs, in fact, it ranges between 175 initial cost to $600 million.
And that will fail Boaning?
Yes.
What's your point with this?
How much?
I'm coming.
How much?
Don't worry.
How much?
175
initial cost by the time it was completed.
So to
it's now become a white elephant though, since his death.
Sorry?
It's now become a white elephant since his death.
Oh no, it's still functioning.
Well, people go there though, but not in droves.
And I even hear that it is one of the highest tourist attractions in Abidjan. Sorry, Côte d'Ivoire. All right.
Not in Africa.
Oh,
please.
I'm limiting myself to. I'm limiting myself to Côte d'Ivoire. All right. And the point is this. I mean, when you go into construction, even your own house, if you are not careful, the budget that you assign, by the time you end, you probably may incur more costs. Right. The next thing, which is the question that you're asking about procurement and all that. All right. You see, for me, the procurement law, the PPA itself, the Public Procurement Act, I know it has been reviewed and a new one is in place. But I still feel that there are certain aspects of it, which needs to be reviewed and streamlined, especially the one that you quoted, which is the Act 663.
That's the Public Procurement Act itself.
Yeah.
663.
Okay. Yeah, 663, which is the new one, isn't it? That's the new one in place.
Following, no, that's the existing one.
Yeah, that's the existing one, which is the new one, I think about 5 years ago or so. Now, you see, there is some aspect of the Public Procurement Act which deals with issues regarding, sourcing, sole sourcing, single sourcing, and all that. And these are issues where, sessions that create some level of controversies, especially when it comes to procuring, items, and then you have to go back again to who your bosses are or to the agency itself, to seek approval, for continuations and all that. But Roland, I am a bit confused, with the reports that we are working with. I've cited 2 different reports. One has 62 pages. Okay. And there's another one which has 94 pages. Right. Now, when you read the excerpts from these 2, you will see that there are some missing, items. Last night, I saw a response from the National Cathedral board.
It came on Saturday.
Okay, I saw it last night. And then I was just tracking the issues that were raised. And my concern, with what I read from the board, their first point, major point, was that the management letter did not, focus on the audit report of 2020 to 2023. Okay. And so when you check the audit reports, which actually quotes the 117 million and all that, all right, the 94-page one talks about, report from the board, report from management, and then report from, the presidency. Okay. 3 things. But when you check the 62-page one, you don't see the one from the board. And that is why the Cathedral board was actually questioning, why they didn't, the press conference didn't actually mention the report from the board. You see, I feel that if you are making a case, it should be holistic. I think that...
I don't understand. Who should be holistic on whose part? The board or the government to respond?
I mean, the government responds to the press conference.
It was not holistic?
No, because 2 things featured. One wasn't. And so, unless you have these 2 documents, to be able to analyze the issues very well, you may not know where the truth actually lies. Okay. And so I feel that, yes, the communication wing of the president, okay, led by Honorable Felix Ufusukwache, should probably come back again, and then do justice to the issue. Nobody will sit on this platform and endorse criminality, all right? For me, if someone had fought it, I think that the focus and what the expectations of Ghanaians now is to, 1, name and shame. Number 2, come up with credible evidence against such personalities. Arraign them before competent court of jurisdiction.
Where there's evidence?
Yes, when there is evidence, okay. And then you start with the prosecuting, processes. And if the person is found culpable, this is not an issue of political, alignment, and it is not because of one's social status or anything. Just let the law deal with such individuals. All right. Then in that case, we know that, yes, a promise was made to reset an agenda, to reset Ghana's agenda, and to build a nation where corruption cannot be condoned and connived. All right. But once you are picked, irrespective of your political color, the law will actually deal with you. And so for me, I think that, yes, different quotations and all that, which probably suggests that, from maybe the presidency, the budget that was recorded from the presidency up to the period of payment, the differences in there probably might have gone somewhere. But as we speak now, evidence has not come up to suggest that, yes, when Lawyer Pierre Dankwa was paying me through DOC, okay, some differences in there, because lawyer's quotation is different from what the receiver, has reported.
So basically what you're saying is that government is wrong in the way it's postulating in the communication, vis-a-vis the position of the board of the National Cathedral.
I'm not saying they are wrong.
And that expenditures probably could have been made the right way.
I'm not saying...
What are you saying?
I'm not saying they are wrong, okay? I'm saying that, an appropriate, procedure could have been made to improve on the veracity, of whatever has been established, okay? Because, you see, check the reports in the 62-page document, and then you see that there's some level of misappropriation. Let me put it that way for want of better words. That's why I'm saying that if Lawyer Pierre Dankwa is paying me through DOC, all right, and then Lawyer Pierre Dankwa costs 100 million, but I actually received a figure less than the 100 million, then the person who transmitted that money to me needs to be questioned, or the Lawyer Pierre Dankwa should be questioned, or myself, I should be questioned. So the three of us, so that we can know that from point A to point C through point B, okay, what went on? Was there...
Is that not why the call for a forensic audit is then needed? Because you're saying on the face of perusing the documents that are available in the public domain, and then also as released by the presidency, you don't think anything untoward sharply might have been done?
I'm not saying that.
Okay.
I'm actually saying that...
What are you saying?
There is something hidden in there.
Okay. And so we should go beyond...
We should go beyond that.
Okay. So you're advocating for the forensic audit?
Exactly. But you see, Deloitte is an established, well-known, global institution responsible for some of these things. So does it also suggest that Deloitte didn't do good work, or what?
Nobody has suggested that.
Exactly. So they came up with a document, all right? So we need to also scrutinize that particular document to see whether, they did good work or not. Because, yes, then we can now identify where the controversies are actually coming from in terms of the disagreement in figures, in terms of the figures that probably cannot be traced. But if you check the report, Deloitte will always say that the presidency should come out with explanation. And then they will write and say that, yes, they reported, and that this, and that. But they didn't equally state that, look, we feel by that per our...
Dr. Tutubuai, let me ask you, on the face of looking at this project, and then it's on TV, just watch the monitor.
Yeah.
Okay. You look at $97 million, 900 in today's value terms, of 970 million.
970 million.
At the time it was expended, the dollar was running at 17, 16 Ghana cedi. Now, if you go through the banking processes, let's say through a commercial bank, the transfer done through the SWIFT system, etc., you get it at 10.5, 10.6, 10 point whatever. At the time, you transmit or you do the transaction with a value of 16, 17, or even 15. No, 15 was just recent, all right? As at the last time the date for the audit processes are related. Do you think that we need to ascribe any good value of taxpayers' money of 97 million US dollars, hitherto 970 million Ghana cedi, close to $1 billion, to whether this project serves the purposes for which it was intended, communicated to Ghanaians?
No. See, Roland.
What is no?
I will be the first to accept that, you see, this project was a disappointment.
Okay, thank you.
I'll be the first. But you see, when you are professing a charge, you know, and coming up with all issues, facts regarding the project, okay, I feel that you go deep into it and then bring all the nuances for us to be able to identify with the wrongs of it. All right. But as it is, if it turns out, you know, that the responses from the board is true, then I also feel that the government communication has not done the government any good. That is my point, because probably if you are not careful, it will near to mistrust in there.
On whose part?
On the part of the government.
Who's going to mistrust government?
Ghanaians.
How?
How? Because...
So you and who else are the others?
Listen. The issue is this. We know that a promise has been made, isn't it? That we are going to investigate this project. And the figures that were put out there, you know, is horrifying, or are horrifying, isn't it? And like I said, if I compare the figures to the state of the project, it is so much disappointment. All right? Now, my point is that I am expecting government to give me credible information, you know, accurate information that will make me, you know, feel the way I am feeling now. All right? Now, the boss response is that you were supposed to have responded to 3 different reports, which you brought 2. All right? And that is where I was saying initially that why don't you go back and then bring all the reports, do all the analysis, and then establish the facts. Now, when these things are done, and then it enforces my expectation, what it means is that, yes, my trust and confidence in the process, you know, is deepened.
Okay.
All right. But when it gets to a point where, you know, I feel that there has been a gap, all right, then who is to be trusted?
Okay.
Should I trust the board, trust Deloitte, or trust the government machinery? That is where my issues are.
So my understanding is that you want the sentiments should match the public communication by
exactly.
government.
That is it.
Can I respond?
All right. Professor Smart Sapong, good morning to you. I know that we brought you on board so that we'll have some comprehensive discussion on the amendment made by the MPP in their National Delegates Conference. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here enjoying the ongoing conversation.
Yeah, but just you give a little time on this about public opinion on the expenditures on the National Cathedral, and then also on the face of it, the state of the project in relation to the expenditure that has been made. Now we're told $97 million as it is.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, and my regards to the team in studio. It came up, I think, since 2019 when the entire conversation started.
Yeah.
We expressed varying views. In those times, it was in respect of the citation of the project and some of those initial things that many of us disagreed. But I think leadership that time felt do or die, it must be situated where it was situated. It led to the demolition of projects, government bungalows, and all those things. So those were the initial issues. Then the project started. I think where we are now is at the phase where we need hardcore evidence, and our experts are helping us. Deloitte has come with its report. The forensic auditors have also started their work, if not yet to start. And we would want to have those reports so that we take the initial conversation, the 2024 political conversation out, and then we go specific to the details. And I have always maintained that if you are entrusted with public funds, you must avail yourself for public investigation seriously. You must avail yourself.
Okay.
And where you are found culpable, you must admit to the punishment thereon. So I had the conversation ongoing in the studio. Some are still very sentimental and passionate, but I think we've gone past that stage. Now, let the reports come, and then we speak to the reports. We allow the Attorney General to take up the criminal aspects, if so established, and then the other aspects that we can discuss in the public, we go ahead and discuss. They don't have to be mad at us. They took public duties and responsibilities, and definitely some of their issues will be discussed in public.
Okay.
And those that will be found culpable criminally must avail themselves to the law, and then we try to recover any losses that would have emanated from their work. Okay. We are all Ghanaians, nobody hates the other, so I think we will understand it in that scope.
All right. We'll come back to the MPP very soon. Professor Smartapon, just be on the stream for me. I leave this one for you. Please. Then we'll come to MPP because we will not respond subsequently. Unless maybe somebody wants to, the two of them want to fight. So just in 2 minutes or 2.5 minutes. The sentiment I get here is that the communication should ensure there are no sentiments. Please. Because Professor Smartapon, for example, said we've gone past that stage. And then also evidence being adduced is very critical in this. Yeah. And so not just looking at 97 million. Like, for example, when I passed through there, I said, look, and then you look at that building and then the apartments that are coming up, even though the structures are all different, etc. So what's the next thing? What's the position of government on these comments?
Yes, communication is clear. I don't think that there has been any difficulty when it comes to the communication. The verdict on the expenditure or the spending of $97 million is the hole that finds itself in the middle of Accra. There are no two ways about it. Number two, I don't know how Doc expects us to be holistic about the debate. The report is clear that there were discrepancies in the award or the amount of the contract service. Is that not it? The contract says that it is 261 million. Office of the President says that it is 286. Progress report in August says that it is 268. Interim payment certificate says that it is 283. The board of National Cathedral says that the contract value as per the executed agreement between the National Cathedral board and the contractor is 261. Deloitte says that Deloitte has not received any additional information or clarification from the management as at the date of the signing of the report audit. How holistic do you want government to be? The communication has been clear that depending on who you listen to as far as the contract sum is concerned, there is a different narrative. There is a different contract sum from 4 different, evidence. There is a different contract sum for mobilization.
So your point is that there's clear evidence we need to go beyond this initial
Exactly.
report.
That is why government has directed that a forensic audit should be commissioned so that we know exactly whose pockets those differences entered. So I disagree with Doc. When Doc says that we have not been forthcoming with the communication, we have not been holistic. How holistic do you want us to be? The Minister for Government Communication has made it. Let him. The Minister for Government Communication.
Everybody, please end for me so that I can give that. I want to do the MPP thing.
The Minister for Government Communication has actually published the report. Every Ghanaian has read it and knows that
In fact, Roland, as we sit here, has the management of National Cathedral disputed the data or the numbers Deloitte brought? Look at the management responses that came, and look at the responses from Deloitte. There was nowhere in this report that the management of National Cathedral actually disputed the numbers from Deloitte. Just that the responses they gave, according to Deloitte, did not add up. The fact that you give a response doesn't mean that the responses make sense. They ask you, how much was the contract? You give a different figure. Office of the President gives a different figure. And Deloitte said that it is difficult to reconcile the numbers. What also should government communication do? The minister has brought the data. It is out for the public to judge exactly who is at fault and what level of honesty has government demonstrated. What level of honesty has National Cathedral Board?
So you're saying government is forthright.
Exactly.
The next step is to go beyond.
Is clear.
Go beyond the payments.
Exactly.
And the who receive what,
Exactly.
where the payment in relation to the undertakings value for money.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Prof or Doc, you wanted to say something?
Oh, no.
Just a minute, if you can just clarify.
It's not. I'm not saying that.
You think he's being sentimental?
No. I mean, that is a responsibility he must discharge. So you see, the issue is this: that for me, the government position, I am not against it. All that I'm saying is that the report, the content of the report, had three key, issues. Two have been addressed in the press conference. One wasn't, and that is what I am just saying. It should be added. So that is what I meant by being holistic.
Okay.
All right. I am not saying that whatever press conference that was carried out on that day, government didn't do well. At least we are all asking for transparency. We are asking for accountability. You understand? And for me, it has been my long-held, opinion that, you see, government, as a scholar in political marketing, specifically on political relationship marketing, I believe that engagements, between governments, political parties, and voters, very, very important. And accountability, transparency are part of engagements. So if government is being transparent and being accountable on an existing project which we all frown on, all right, why should I be against it? My only question is that the board report, which was not featured.
You mean the management report?
No.
The management letter, or which one?
The board's letter indicated that let me read it. Okay, I wrote it here. That the concerns raised by government, all right, was not a full disclosure because it actually focused on the management letter, but not the, you see. So that is where I am saying that if that is true as being, accused, all right, why don't you check? Again, my personal observation, looking at the Deloitte, reports, I saw the three things. So if you bring it and then you give us full disclosure and you tell us based on the analysis that government had made and probably had established certain gaps in the Deloitte report, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it.
Okay.
That is all that I'm saying.
Okay. Point made. All right, so we'll move to the MPP, but I have a couple of comments, and then I'll start with Professor Smart-Sapo on that subject. If money, I'll give you a time. If money says if this NDC government does not jail these people, then what's the point? There will be naked demonstration. That's money. He says, so where is the stone that we were told will be brought from Israel? That stone that is being bombed now by Iran, and then also forces in Gaza. And then I have this one from Kenzie. Kenzie says, kudos to the butterfly rep and legal practitioner. He does well on your show. always making sure he brings clarity. But more importantly, why is it that a project that has been poorly executed, taking away the taxpayers' money, $97 million, 970 million Ghana cedi, almost close to $1 billion, has been spent and nobody's seeing anything wrong? And we're going by words, English, and speaking that we need evidence, etc. Just take people before the courts and charge them for causing financial loss to the state, poorly applying public funds to stated projects, just like Chachuchikata was undertaking. Why are we wasting time? For me, this NDC government is wasting time to jail these people, I say. Okay. And then I also move to Dr. Albert Awatrisego. Good morning to you, Dr. Awatrisego. I associate myself with and agree with the comments made by Professor Sapon on the National Cathedral matter. We should all relax and allow the respective state agencies go into the matter to its logical conclusion. Moses Betty says Deloitte's audit, as I understand it, is a financial and regulatory audit. The standard there is materiality and sampling, so it is generally not designed to discover fraud and other irregularities. There's a need for further audits, forensic as it is. Moses Betty. Interesting there. And then we also have a couple more comments. This one is coming from Ebu Bachman. Good morning to you. So he said, when the National Cathedral project was initiated or conceived, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia was deliberately assigned to lead engagement with religious leaders across the country, and for obvious political reasons. But as public outrage grew and the project began to reek of corruption, he quietly distanced himself. The same happened with the economy. When things began to take a nosedive, he stopped accompanying Ken Ofori-Atta to Parliament to present the budget, conveniently detaching himself from the mess he helped create. Oh, Ebu Bachman. That's your comment, dear. Lawyer Kakri Samoa says, do not forget that the late president of our country is celebrating his birthday today, Professor John Evans Atta-Mills. May so rest in peace. Lawyer Kakri Samoa with that there. Let me read the last one. And the last one is coming from a great friend of mine who lives in the UK. Kojo, good morning to you. He says, proceedings may be instituted against the former president within 3 years after leaving office for actions or omissions during their term. And I'm sure it's in relation to the advocacy for amendment to be made. I think that Lawyer Pierre Dankwa wants like the full period when they leave office.
Immediately.
Yeah, not only 3 years, and then subsequent moratorium. Okay. On the issue of National Cathedral, according to Williams and Poma Dallas, I fully support the call for a forensic audit to gather more evidence to ensure that everyone that participated in this crime, as you put it, is arrested, prosecuted, and jailed. Williams and Poma Sapon. And Professor Smart Sapon, the amendments that have been made by the MPP, which of them are of significance to you, prominently? That also, based on your observations in your work and picking up public opinion among the base of the MPP, seem to resonate adequately and well with them.
Well, thank you so much. But I was excited at how I think last but two message got you, shocked you, the way they were trying to skim it to other extended individuals who took part in the National Cathedral project. In fact, my point is still the same, that, yeah, we've gone past many of the stages now. Let us allow the forensic audit to be completed. And then, we do not have much time. The government currently in force would have to be accountable to Ghanaians by 2028. And so we must rather give the experts the peace of mind to expedite some of these things, and then allow the Attorney General's office to study the reports that will come. And then we commence some prosecutions, if any, or maybe we clear some of the books if it doesn't need to. We do not have much time. If we spend all the time on the issues again and again, perhaps we may slow some of the processes down. Some of the legal issues in court drags for long. So let's start the discussion where it needs to be discussed, and then the part where we will discuss on your morning show and those things we discuss. For now, we wish the forensic team very well. We wish that they expedite the work so that the Attorney General can take over the report, and then we move to the next level. On the NPP conference, I think largely it was peaceful. Largely it was peaceful, and most of the motions that were sent for consideration were considered. I think with the exception of some two which were not considered. For me, the part that is quite striking is the need for them to expand their electoral college, which now conference has given a go-ahead for the party to do so. You know, most of the two political parties, mainly, with all due respect to the other political parties, the NDC and the MPP, they have things in common. But I heard the national chairman in the past say sometimes they relied on the NPP constitution to suggest some amendments in the NDC constitution, those things. And that is how it works. For the next several years to come, I'm sure they are the two political parties that have positioned themselves very well to lead governance of this country. And so they must learn from one another. I was looking at the case where NDC has 9 branch executives and MPP has 5. Assuming you want to police the polling station very well, so you leave 5 people of your base there to police. NDC also leaves 5. The NDC still has some 4 people who can go into the homes and mobilize people to come and vote. So numerically at the branch level, the MPP was disadvantaged. Sometimes they import people from other constituencies or elsewhere, they are TESCON or other learned groups, to go and help in polling station activities. In the polling station, they do not belong. In doing so, you deny those people you are sending to those polling stations on many occasions the opportunity to vote. So the reality is that the young guys who go to help in these things will be crisscrossing many polling stations and they end up not voting. All those ones will reduce your numbers. So for me, there was the need to increase the numbers at the branch or polling station level, as they call it, so that at least activities prior to election day and even on election day can be done with more hands, which they urgently needed. So I think that is quite striking.
Okay.
Then the next one, okay.
So based on the observations that you made and you picked up, were you in a good position to be able to advise them on perhaps some of the things that led to some discrepancies, maybe the delinking in terms of the communication between the base and the party, so that reflected in some of the choices they made in the amendments?
I think the source of the motions were from the Michael Quay committee. And yeah, largely that is what we were told. Then some individuals who also submitted specific proposals to them.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I couldn't have done that. I didn't actually have time. It's been quite tight from the beginning of this year till now. Your media general establishment is helping us conduct a regional quiz on waste management, and I'm largely very central in it. So we are doing the recording. Maybe later our viewers would be watching it. Yeah. So I've been quite tight, and I've been following from afar. And I think largely the Michael Quay team might have done all that needed to be done. They might have picked all the information that the party people or general public had to help them do those amendments that they wanted to do. Yeah, so largely I couldn't have been involved. I've been very tight.
Okay. And so which ones are more prominent for you? Which one? Just name them so that we'll quickly have some, because audience, before we leave, we just have about 5 minutes or 10 minutes.
Okay, that's fine. So I think I've mentioned the need for the expansion of the electoral college. And then the other one would be the fact that when the party is in government, they must periodically, I think quarterly, have a bridge meeting between government and party. And I think that's also quite a striking observation, because in the past, many of the reasons why the NPP suffered was the link or the disconnect between the party and government, and many others. So out of the 50-something, I think only 2 were rejected. And it would be good for them to come together and see how to implement the many that were accepted by conference, so that it helps in their rebuilding process.
Okay. So what's your comment, just in 2 minutes?
I think that...
Since this is not your party, I mean, just have less comments. Let's go quickly.
I mean, the MPP are a stakeholder in the Ghanaian affairs. I think that their conference yesterday and the motion they adopted will bring more chaos in the MPP than the situation they find themselves in now. Well, if you look at motion 46, they say that if the party is in power and you're occupying any position like a national officer or a minister, a deputy, CEO or whatever, and you want to contest for the flag bearership race, you must resign 24 months to the election. What if the person is the vice president?
But the vice president is not appointed. He's a co-candidate, so to speak, only not on the ballot paper.
He said when you occupy any official position in the government. What if the person is the president? Should the president resign 24 months to the election?
I don't understand.
Yes. The motion is that when people are in positions in the government, any position in the government, and they want to contest for flag bearer, they should resign 24 months before the election. What if the person is the vice president or is the president? That will bring more chaos. When you read order number, motion 10, he says that if you're a party executive and you get an appointment, you must resign from your party position. But the motion does not specify exactly how the replacement should be done, whether by appointment or by election. It will bring more chaos. They say that now they have affirmed, when you read motion number 35, that the national chairman will be the leader of the party. Are they agreeing that President Kufuor has destroyed the party? Well, it means that when President
How did you come to that conclusion?
Because it means that when President Kufuor was the president, the national chairman, the national chairman became a lame duck. So now they want to give power to the national chairman.
But so that is good.
I'm saying that, is this a confirmation that President Kufuor destroyed the party? It means that President Kufuor, the national chairman, was a white elephant. That is what this means. And so now they want to repose more power in the national chairman so that in any event they get a worse president like President Kufuor, the national chairman can overcome the temptation. Now I'm happy about this amendment, motion number 9, that the communication officer for the party should be elected. You know, initially he was appointed. When the person is appointed and the person is elected, there is a difference, because when the person is elected, you know that it is a little bit representative. The person owes a certain responsibility to the party. Is this a confirmation that before 2024 election, the MPP had no communication front line? Because they did not have a message.
Oh, that's Dennis Marco.
I'm saying that they changed communication officers more than 3 times before the 2024 election. You understand the point I'm making? When the NDC was proposing better solutions for the people of Ghana, they were expressing skepticism. There was no message. They lacked clarity in their message. So I'm happy about it. But you see, all of this does not mean anything when it comes to winning the national election. What is most important is how you deliver when you are in government. You can do all the organization, but when they give you the opportunity to govern, you must deliver on the mandate. You must not dig a hole in the middle of Accra at $97 million. You must not ensure that your currency is the worst. You must not allow domestic debt exchange program to happen such that 1.3 million Ghanaians will lose their money through that program. You must not ensure that you borrow 8 times more than what you came to meet. You must not destroy the quality of life of your people. They must not suffer. They must not be in a hurry to vote you out. That is the most important thing. So today, if they elect somebody like Dr. Bawumia, the people of Ghana will compare him, what he came to do as the head of a economic management team, and where we find ourselves in now, where fuel prices have gone down, there's relative stability in the economy, dollar is stable, and what have you. And so for me, I'm not expecting anything good from the MPP's reorganization process. Any candidate they bring, the people of Ghana will compare their lives under the MPP and their lives now, and they will know that indeed the NDC is a better party. NDC strengthens this country and makes the life of the Ghanaian more comfortable, more than the MPP.
Well, we've been here before. The NDC was here pre-2016 or post-2016 after the Professor Kwesi Butcher report, they also decided they had expanded, then also mid-size it a bit compared to the previous, right? So lessons always to be learned.
Listen, I don't know why you are excited about MVP attempt to amend whatever constitution. I didn't even watch on Saturday. Why?
Are you a former member of the party?
Forget about former member. You see, the point is that the MPP showed last year that they have no respect, absolutely no respect for their constitution. Absolutely no respect.
Why do you say that?
During the parliament, the impasse, in spite of the clear terms of their constitution, that said that if you put yourself up as candidate, contrary against a candidate they have sponsored, automatically, what was their position? They don't respect their constitution. They don't respect their constitution. They don't respect rule of law. They don't respect constitutionalism. So why were you excited? It was just doing something to represent something. In any case, what is the biggest problem the MPP is facing? The biggest problem they are facing is that they've become a party that have departed radically from their core values and principles.
What are their initial core values?
MPP in their constitution says that they believe in the principle or they are aligned to liberal democratic principles. That's what they say, freedom of thought. They believe that those who govern must govern with the consent of those they govern. They claim that they believe in the rule of law. They claim that they believe in the protection of our environment. Now, the MPP that is today have departed from all these values. And we don't have time. I've taken each principle under liberal democracy, and I'll show you why they've departed. Now, the exercise they took on Saturday, I'm saying that one, they've shown, last year they told the whole Ghana that they don't respect the constitution. So, going to do this then, when already there's a top-up approach that we're all talking about, and they didn't even address it. That they amended, they said they claim they've expanded their electoral college, they said it will only take effect after the top-up approach election in January. You understand? So what they did on Saturday, for me, does not show any clear commitment at tackling the fundamental problems that has all of taking the steps to restore their soul. Because I told that the MPP as it stands now does not have a soul. They does not have a soul because they do not have virtue. They do not have value. They do not have principle. They don't have a soul. I don't know how the activities, when the country was being raped, you see, we're talking a lot of English. Plenty English. No, still we are talking plenty, but the bottom line is that there's a big hole in the center of Accra that they are saying cost us $97 million. The MPP, what did they say when this rape was being done as? The MPP as a political party, what did they say when this crime was being perpetrated against the people of Ghana? And they say what?
What has that got to do with amendments in their constitution?
Because when you're a political party and you sponsored a candidate, when you're a political party when your sponsored candidate is in power, your general secretary, your chairman are de facto members of the cabinet. Why are they there? They are there so that they will align the president they sponsored to always be in line with their set values. Is it their set value that will dig a hole, 97 million hole, in the center of Accra? What was their position then? And so they shouldn't come and waste our time for a party that really, in my opinion, has lost all its essence. Is that they are doing what? Listen, they should take serious steps at find a way of restoring their soul. I don't believe that they have what it takes to do that. And that's why we are forming a party. We are going to form a party, and we'll take that the
movement for change.
Oh, you see.
What's the name of the?
You form a party. You have
Is it a movement for change party?
No, it certainly won't be a movement for change party. But what I'm telling you is that the MPP does not have a soul. They don't have any principle. They don't have any value. They've told us that they do not respect their own constitution. And so they should not come and waste their own time and waste the time of every single Ghanaian with this amendment. When clearly they showed us, and the evidence is there, they showed us that they have absolutely no respect for their own constitution. So what are they talking about?
Okay. Just in 3 minutes, the amendments really is for the base of the party. And if they do well, those that they will also be able to perhaps appeal to also come and join them in the process.
All right. I think that observing the conference.
Were you there?
No, I was
as an observer. As an observer.
Yes, I was actually doing commentary as well as observing proceedings from the TV, the broadcast. Sorry. Actually, for me, I think that the first thing is that they did well by ensuring that the conference was peaceful. When it comes to the 54 accepted, motions and or the proposals, and then the 2 rejected, I think that yes, the MPP grassroots seems to probably are suggesting that there are things that they want the party to review within their own articles, and then things that they are not really comfortable with. But I am looking at it from a strategic point of view. Because of time, let me just talk about the motion number 24, which talks about TESCON, where it is talking about voting rights to TESCON presidents and from each recognized tertiary institution in the country, as well as the regional and national delegate conference. At the regional and national delegate conference. I feel that, you see, one thing that the MPP as well as the NDC can do is about mentoring, So just giving them the voting rights is probably not enough.
Okay.
But, to also ensure that they could have included in this, motion, the processes of mentoring and the processes of training of TESCON members.
You mean it should have been in the amendment?
Should have been, yes.
But those are administrative issues, or because they are more ideological, they should put them.
Exactly, from the ideological point of view, all right. So that at least when someone is being attached to a particular, candidate or so, it wouldn't sound as if that this person, is this person's creation and all that. And so I feel that TESCON, just like the NDC's wing, the name, thing, should be empowered and should be included in the things that the 2 major political parties do, rather than, as it were, just leave them to be students without finding proper use for them. And again, without mentoring them, to the top level, all right? As at now, every TAIN member and TESCON member who gets up there is because of that person's own effort, which is not right.
Professor Asmasapo, I know you wanted to make a comment, but unfortunately my time is up. And
1 second, just 1 second.
Okay, please talk.
Good. Yes, please. Yes. So the motion Dr. Ayer referred to, motion 43. I just want to read. It doesn't include the extension he added. He says that national officers, ministers, deputy ministers, CEOs, and the timeline Dr. Ayer referred to was 24 months, but here it is 12 months. I think it's just a quick correction I wanted to. So that is motion 43. The one he was asking what if the person was a sitting president? What if the person was a president?
No, there's one where they are supposed to put in their resignation 2 clear years before the time.
Okay, but
I think it's got to do with ministers and some people like that.
Yes, that's what I'm reading now. Motion 43.
Okay.
That national officers, ministers, deputy ministers, CEOs, other government appointees who file to contest to become candidates, parliamentary candidates, must do so within 12 months to the national general elections. Okay, anyway, I'm referring to the 43 that he mentioned.
Okay.
If there is any other one,
that you're not
look at
okay.
it. Yes, please. Thank you so much.
Okay, so
I mentioned 46, so I didn't mention 43.
No, okay.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
okay.
I mentioned 46.
Okay, so let me, if I can quickly refer to, anyway, we may not have the time, but 46 is saying that, this is 46, amend article that constitution to provide that national officers, ministers, deputy ministers, CEOs, other government appointees who file to become presidential candidates shall resign their position within 24 months. Yes, so his concern was that what if the person is
a vice president?
What if the person, but they have been excluded. National officers, ministers, deputy ministers, CEOs. So 24 months is correct. But his worry was, what if the person was? And I think
all right. Okay. Point made. Point made. No fight. 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 Sami, Dr. Samuel Aye. Thank you for your comments as well. Now, again, we have to tell you that we have a lot, and to also tell you that we have cash out. It goes with a short code star 439 hash. I've seen all the comments. NewDay, Nia Tukwekwe, the rest of you as well, Dr. Akofa Segbefia, etc. But look, if you want to look smart and fashionable, visit any Woodin boutique nationwide today. Woodin offers amazing collection of authentic African fabrics, and if you want to blend, etc., please make sure that you go to any Woodin shop near you today. For men and women, all sexes, please get creative, block your designs, be versatile, be you, be Woodin. And Woodin also says that go look for Woodin fashion across social media, whether it's TikTok, Facebook, etc. And they always tell you that Woodin le créateur. Professor Smartapon, thank you so much for spending your time with us. We're grateful as always. And then Doc, as well as lawyer. And then Dr. Samia, 1 second. Thank you very much as well. We are taking a break. We'll be right back with you.
I just saw it.